Welcome back to Aging in Arizona. I'm your host, Presley Reeder. I'm here with my co-host, Mark Young, and our guests today are Misha Dick, Vice President, and Serena Schluter, Director of Operations with Health Signal Partners. Go to their website, healthsignalpartners.com, to find out more. Again, that's healthsignalpartners.com to find out more about some really exciting, relatively new opportunities for some great services, and we're going to keep talking about those now, Mark.
I'm always impressed when somebody sees a void and steps in and tries to fix that. One thing we see in this industry a lot, Misha, you brought this up. I mean, we're talking about our parents, very independent people. They don't want to reach out for help. I almost don't see your service as reaching out to help. This is helping them continue to manage their independence. So I see a huge value, and I see probably those that are going to use your services feeling a lot more comfortable versus let me call my son or my daughter. So I think it's just invaluable what you're putting together. So, Serena, tell us a story that kind of elaborates what it is that you guys have accomplished.
Thanks for asking, Mark. And I have a wonderful story to share. And it just, every time I talk about it, it truly just reminds me of why we do this. So as Misha spoke about the clinical aspect, we create a care plan, or we like to call it a to-do list for the patient on getting the road to better health. Well, we had a health partner that was outreaching to one of our patients, and we knew this patient had a history of fall. So we already knew that this patient was at risk. So we're going down the list of talking to our patient and understand that he said he was having trouble sleeping. So we go down the question, okay, what's going on? Are you feeling depressed? Is it the meds that you're on? What can we do to help? And when we really got to the root cause of why this patient wasn't sleeping, it all became very clear. And it was because his mattress was just old and lumpy. So what our health partners did is we just called community resources, and we referenced the catalog that we've created, and we were able to get a new mattress delivered to his home so he could sleep better.
Perfect illustration of getting down to the root problem.
Yeah, so. It really is. It really, understanding, it gets back to, Misha, your 3 steps. The first step, getting to know you, and not just getting to know your name and your social security number and your chronic conditions, but getting to know what's going on in your life and what are some of the maybe minor adjustments we can make that really create major benefit in somebody's life. I'm trying to help our listeners get their minds around what exactly this is, and I'm thinking through it in my own mind, and I'm thinking you're a middleman that we actually want involved in the process. You can't, in healthcare, deal directly with the manufacturer. Maybe you go to Amazon and you want to buy directly from the warehouse, and you don't want to have the middleman who raises rates. But not only are you're a middleman that needs to be there, because if I've interacted with so many adult children and so many elderly folks who are completely overwhelmed with the care management elements of their care. So just the tasks of following up on appointments and making sure you're checking your blood pressure and reporting that and tracking that and making sure you're doing that walk that your doctor has recommended, those types of things can overwhelm both the individual who requires some of the care and the family that's trying to help coordinate all that. You guys step into the middle of those relationships and say, hey, we'll take on all of that for you. We'll take on all the wellness management activity. And by the way, Medicare is paying us to do that, so you don't need to shell out any money for it. So it really is something. We're just trying to kind of make sure the listeners. Anything I'm missing there?
No,
Misha?
I think it's a really good representation of what our role is, and I think maybe to add a few pieces to that, what are to us important to understand. The key one, a question that always comes up is, will you replace my doctors? Will you change my doctors? And the answer is an absolute no. Our job is a very, very different job. Our job is to work with your doctors, and really the way we're thinking about ourselves from a physician office perspective, we're kind of a second line behind the physician offices, and it manifests itself in how we work with physicians. Like we said earlier, we work out of physician offices where we will be there 1 day a week, and we have one of the exam rooms, and we do the 1 hour kind of get to know head to toe it's really a conversation. It's not even an exam in that sense. We take some vitals, but that's about it. Most of it is really an interview process to understand the individual we're working with. Then we're referring really back to the existing physician network when there are clinical needs, whether that is for preventative exam types of things. When there's an acute care need, we refer back to the existing network. So we're there to strengthen, ultimately, the network of physicians that the patient already uses. And then comes the second layer of bringing the community services to bear and providing an enabling technology for the family and friends to get more involved as well. So it really spans all three of those.
And you're there on the phone, you're there in person, and who's there is some skilled, compassionate people. We're going to talk more about who your wellness coach is when we come back.